welcome to Integrated Science. So for today, we are going to discuss about reflection of light, which falls under light energy. Before we start, let's take this assumption. When you throw a ball to hit a wall, the ball bounces back and comes to the person that threw it. The same applies to that of light. So when light rays falls on a particular surface, it reflects or it bounces off. So we call this reflection. So when we talk about reflection of light refers to the bouncing back of light rays when it strikes on a smooth or polished surface. An example of a polished surface is that of a plane mirror. So I'll put it on the board. Reflection of light refers to the bouncing back of light rays when it strikes a smooth or polished surface. So reflection of light refers to the bouncing back of light rays when it strikes a smooth or polished surface. So when light rays falls on a smooth surface like a plane mirror, it bounces back or it reflects. So I will give you the diagram for that explanation. So an example of a smooth or polished surface is that of a plane mirror. So the diagram will be shown on the board. So this is the diagram of how light rays falls on a surface, then it reflects. So we will indicate it with some arrows. So the light ray will hit the surface. This AB is the plane surface. So the light ray which hits on the surface is termed as the incident ray, which is indicated by letter I, and then it reflects or it bounces off, which is indicated by letter R. So let's give a brief explanation about all these letters. So when we talk about the I refers to the incident ray. And let's come to the N. The N is the normal. And with the R, the reflected ray. And when we talk about the O is the point of incidence. And the AB is representing the plane mirror or the smooth or polished surface. Okay, so with this diagram, we can see that the incident ray makes an angle with the normal. It will make an angle with the normal, and this angle we call it angle of incidence. The same applies to that of the reflected ray. It also makes an angle with the normal, and we call it the angle of reflection. So those small a's are representing the angle of incidence, and this one too, angle of reflection. Okay, so we are going to have a brief description about all these letters. So let's come to the terms using reflection of light. So we are going to talk about the incident ray, the normal, and the reflected. After that, the angle of incidence, and then the angle of reflection. So let's start with the normal. So when you talk about the normal is the line that is perpendicular to the plane surface, which is represented by line AB. That's the plane mirror or the plane surface. So this M, that's the normal, is perpendicular to the line AB. So when you say something is perpendicular, it means that thing makes an angle of 90 degrees with a particular surface. So assuming this is my horizontal line, and I draw another vertical line, and I label the horizontal line as AB, and I label the vertical line as CD. So we are trying to say that this line CD is perpendicular to the line AB, meaning that it makes an angle of 90 degrees to the surface AB. So that's the meaning of perpendicular. So the normal, this is the line. That is perpendicular. That is perpendicular to the plane surface. To the plane surface AB. So this AB is serving as our mirror, plane mirror. So let's move on to the incident ray. So when you talk about the incident ray is the ray which is directed towards the plane mirror or the plane surface. It is directed towards the plane surface. So that's the incident ray. It is going straight to the plane mirror. After that, it will what? Reflect. So the incident ray is the ray which is directed towards the plane mirror. So that's the incident ray. Let's move on to the reflected ray. So as we all know, reflection is the bouncing back of light rays when it strikes a smooth surface. So as soon as the incident ray strikes on the plane surface, it reflects. So the reflected ray, it bounces off the light ray. It bounces off the light ray, or it sends the light rays which was from the incident ray, then it bounces off. So the reflected ray, this is the ray which is reflected. Or sent away. From the plane surface. So the reflected ray reflects or sends away the ray from the plane surface. It bounces off the light rays. Okay, so let's move on to the angle of incidence. So with the angle of incidence, this is the angle from when the incident ray makes an angle with the normal. So the angle, it starts from the incident ray, then it makes the angle with the normal. The same applies to that of the reflected ray. The angle of reflection, this is the angle where the reflected ray makes with the normal. So that's the angle of reflection. So when we talk about the angle of incidence, this is the angle between the incident ray and the normal. So this is the incident ray as represented by letter I, the incident ray and the normal. So the angle between them is the incident angle, or the angle of incidence. That's the I. And when you come to the angle of reflection, this is the angle between the reflected ray. So this is the reflected ray represented by letter R. The angle between the reflected ray and the normal, and this is the normal, the line perpendicular to the plane surface. So the angle between them is called the angle of reflection, or the reflected angle. That's represented by R with a small o. So the o represents the angles. Okay, so let's move on to the laws of reflection. So we are on the laws of reflection. So the laws of reflection, there are two. And with the first one, it states that the incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incident all lies on the same plane. So yeah, with the help of this diagram, this is the incident ray, the normal, and the reflected ray. So they all lie on this plane mirror AB. So that's what the first law is indicating. The incident ray, the reflected ray, and the normal at the point of incidence all lies on the same plane. So this is the plane AB, and the incident, the normal, and the reflected ray, they are all lying on the what? Same plane. So that's what the first law states. And with the second law, the second law is that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. That's the I and the R. So they are the same. So this implies that if the angle of incidence is, let's say, 40 degrees, it implies that the angle of reflection is also 40 degrees. So in a question, and you'll be given that the angle of incidence is equal to 40 degrees, or let's say 70 degrees. Find the angle of reflection. So with the second law, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, then you state it. So therefore the angle of reflection will also be 70 degrees. That will be the answer. Okay, so please take this assignment. So you take this assignment. It's a very simple assignment. During the course of teaching, I do some diagrams. That's what I'm trying to say. So you draw something, represent something, you sketch something, and representing the plane mirror. Then you bring your incident ray, the angle of incidence, the normal, the angle of reflection, the reflected ray, and the point of incidence. So that's that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.